Joseph Blount testified that he knew the FBI discourages payments to ransomware gangs, but he did it anyway because his top priority was getting the pipeline back online as quickly as possible.
I made the decision to pay, and I made the decision to keep the information about the payment as confidential as possible. It was the hardest decision I've made in my 39 years in the energy industry, and I know how critical our pipeline is to the country, and I put the interests of the country first.
Colonial CEO told the senators that his company paid the ransom just 1 day after learning of the cyber attack. And he indicated he did not consult with the FBI or any other federal agency about making the payment.
It was our understanding that the decision was solely ours as a private company to make the decision about whether to pay or not to pay. And considering the consequences of potentially not bringing the pipeline back on as quickly as I possibly could, I chose the option to make the ransom payment.
Colonial Pipeline's massive network supplies nearly half of the East Coast fuel. Despite the swift ransom payment, the disruption led to panic buying and gas shortages across the Southeast. The CEO's testimony comes 1 day after the Justice Department announced it recovered most of the ransom money from the pipeline hack. FBI officials say they were able to track down the hacker gang's Bitcoin attack and seize their cryptocurrency. CNBC senior Washington correspondent Eamon Javers on the top story tonight. Eamon?
Shep, while law enforcement may have recovered the majority of that ransomware payment, as you were just talking about, lawmakers still wanted answers today on what went wrong and why this company was so vulnerable to an attack like this.
Did you have a plan for cybersecurity response that included guidance about ransomware?
Senator, specifically, no discussion about ransom and action to ransom.
Blount testified the company immediately reached out to the cybersecurity firm Mandiant and then within hours to the FBI. But by that point, hackers had already exploited a compromised VPN or virtual private network password.
This account apparently did not use multi-factor authentication, which again is kind of just a basic cybersecurity hygiene item that companies should have in place.
In the case of this particular legacy VPN, it did only have single-factor authentication. It was a complicated password, so I want to be clear on that. It was not a Colonial 123 type password.
Now, Blount also defended the company's spending on cybersecurity when pressed by Senator Josh Hawley.
Our owners have never denied us any opportunity to spend what we need to spend in order to keep the pipeline safe and secure.
Which is about what, a year?
Take the average, over $200 million in the last 5 years.
Now, that $200 million is for IT spending overall, not just on cybersecurity. It's not clear exactly how much the company is spending on cyber. The company told me today that it won't disclose that number. But Blount testified Colonial has 100 people dedicated to IT. And he said the company realized it might have to relearn how to do some things manually without computers in this age of ransomware because almost everyone who knows how to do that is gone.
A lot of those people that did operate Colonial Pipeline and other infrastructure in America historically manually, they're retiring or they're gone. Fortunately, we still have that last bit of that generation, which allowed us to do what we did during this particular event.
Just this week, Colonial is bringing 7 finance systems back online, and Blount says Mandiant continues to investigate the attack. We'll hear from one of Mandiant's executives tomorrow when he testifies before Congress about the hack. Shep?
Eamon, thanks. You may have noticed the internet broke this morning.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.